or spend a lot of time here. So we're going to do the variant. Stay back. Stay back. Now here's the problem. The variant's super restricted. So this is why I wanted some extra favor. Only range or magic base attacks can be used. So out of my starting group, nobody. So Celeste so far, which is why we wanted a lot of favor, so we can kind of click through as much as possible while we try to get some people in. I can bring Gale in. I'm trying to do like I want to see what's available with my starters first. I do have Gale in available because of the event as a swap, but I want to. I'm just curious. I'm curious what this looks like. Yeah. Event buff window. Oh, yes, we have a sub hover. We have a sub hover. Nice. Nice. We got a sub hover. So place the champion in the formation, activate buffs. This is super smart. Oh, this is super smart. This is good. Yes. Yes, well done, CNE. Buffs only active when champions in formation. This is great. Active buff 0 to 8. I just need to see it on my main to see if it really holds. Like if I can really view them all. If all the help, you're welcome. Yeah, I've got a lot of stuff. Again, I've got obviously I'm here a lot. I'm over on the CNE Games channel a lot, but more importantly, you can find my thoughts on the game and tips and notes and stuff. Over there is for new players that new player reference, a guided tour that I just linked in chat. I have gotten immense amounts of feedback on that, saying that is a fantastic way to walk through the start of the game. It breaks everything up into like milestone progress. So you only need to really like take milestone 1, read the guides that are related to milestone 1, and work your way through that. There is an event going on. Events are a little different. That takes you out of the milestone progress. Do event stuff. I've got event guides for that. But yeah, it's a good place to start. And then there's a link in that guide to the wiki page that has all of my guides. There's over 170 of them. Access them as you need them. But kind of the best place to start is the new player reference because it collects most, but not all of my new player stuff. I need to update it with some more recent new player guides that we've created this year. I keep hearing Gale and think of Ashley Johnson's teen sitcom. Yeah. Oh, wow. Wow.
It's so loud.
Oof. Leaf blower, folks. Leaf blower. Oh, so loud. You know what? Now I am using it. I'm going to use one of these. I don't like using my speed potions, but I get so few of them. If I get any, no, 24 gems away from another chest. Do you have a silver Shandie? The leaf blower Gale Force 5. Wow. Wow. Leave me alone. Oh, big stretch. Oh. All right. Hey, I finally get to bring another champion. Wow. Ale hydrate. A little late for a cream egg. I don't want to ruin my dinner. I'll probably have one for dessert. I'll probably have one for dessert. Well, the problem here is we can't get Jarlaxle land for gold find, so we're really just relying on. Oh, Nick Triple. We're really just relying on the pure favor we have. Don't ruin the cream egg with dinner. Oh, it's fair. What about tomorrow? See any streamer here? What do you mean? I'll be both. I'm doing the CNE stream in the morning, and then I'll be back here after that, or in the well, to start the day off for me. Oh, the cream egg. Oh, no, I don't do 2 cream eggs a day usually. Put Shadowheart in formation for the first time, but she doesn't have a feats tab. Why would this be for me? Because you got to level her up, most likely. Bryce, you probably need to put some levels in her to get. It should show up, but maybe just leveling her up would help. Might just try restarting the game. You might try restarting the game. The rule of the tech support. Have you tried turning it off and turning it on again? It really works here, like so well. Most of the times when you encounter a problem with this game, just turn it off, turn it back on again, and a lot of times the problem's gone. She's level 2300. Oh, definitely turn it off and turn it back on again. Definitely turn it off and turn it back on again. Yeah. If it still doesn't work after restarting your client, like if you're on Steam, what I will do to force it is to shut Steam down completely and then restart Steam and then restart the client, and usually that flushes all the problems out. If it still doesn't work, submit a ticket. Then there's something's clearly gone wrong, and it has nothing to do with client quirks. But it's rare that it doesn't have something to do with the client. Oh, we got Caddy Bree. Nice. Yeah, so we got some swaps here. We got some swaps. We're gonna have some good support. Gale can support from the back. Here, I'm just gonna look. We use what we gotta what we have available, right? Not everybody will have Gale, but I do, and that's what matters. And then I'm gonna swap in the Caddy Bree as our DPS. Because she's a knockout, and she'll knock you out, right? How are we gonna wanna oh boy. Normally we would oh. Ooh. Yeah, it's gonna be weird placement. It's gonna be weird placement. Because she would need to be back here. Like this, and then we're gonna go. I don't even know if we're gonna get a tank. So attacks against champion the miss. I'm gonna go with that. I don't even know that I'll have a tank. Now that I'm grown, I eat 5 dozen cream eggs a day. Wow, can you imagine? Starting today, everyone's going to have Gale. No. I mean, hopefully if the people are starting, everybody can pick up Gale, but this is going to end up as a video up on my YouTube page of unlocking Shandie and completing their adventure. And people in the future may not have it. Oh, the missing node to the modest core? No, to the strong core. I can't bring Karlach in. There's no melee allowed. No melee allowed. Offline progress is much slower than online. Well, yeah, active progress is way faster always. Yeah. Offline and background is you know, they say it's the same thing. It's not entirely the same thing, but it's slower than active progress. Al Gaten says hello to everybody watching the bot. Is Shandie an evergreen? No, Shandie's an event champion. Evergreen champions are specifically so there's three kinds of champions in the game. Good ones, bad ones, and then Karlach. No, there's three kinds of champions in the game. There's core, there's evergreen, and there's event. So core champions are the 12 that you just get out of the box. They're the first champion in every slot. So Bruenor, Celeste, Niali, Jarlaxle, Calliope, Ashara, Minsk, Dalina, oh god, who's after 5, 6, 7, 1, 2, 3, Makos, Tyrell, Jamila, and Archon. There we go, I got there. Those are your core 12 champions. Okay. Evergreens are champions that second group. Evergreens are champions that you unlock in some other way that isn't an event. So Hitch here unlocks. Get hitched on Idle Champions today. Press the hamburger button. Sign up for the newsletter with a valid email address because you're going to want that once a week newsletter because it's got free stuff in it every week. Occasionally, that free stuff is a champion. Hitch is an evergreen. He's an example of unlocking something outside an event. Another evergreen is nerds. Over here in the gem shop. Don't buy them. They cost too much. 100,000, no. If they were 1,000, yes to nerds. But later on, when you can earn hundreds of thousands of gems easily, sure. But don't save up for nerds. And then Dritz Doerden, you might have heard of him if you know D&D. He's an evergreen unlock in the Sword Coast campaign. There are campaign-based evergreen unlocks. There's at least one in every campaign, except Turn the Fortune's Wheel. It will get one eventually. And Tomb of Annihilation has 2. It's in the name. Tomb of Annihilation. Perfect time to go to an ad break. With that bad joke. And with that bad joke, it's time for an ad break. Look, Ma, I'm on YouTube. I don't think that's as cool as Look, Ma, I'm on television, but sure. Yeah, we did have an Eventer Green for a couple hours. RIP Eventer Greens, 2024 to 2024. There aren't any removed champions. I don't know what you're talking about. No such thing. There's just reworked champions, right? Yeah, there's 2 ways to deal with issues around creator-based champion. One is just to ignore them forever and never talk about them ever again, which is usually what happens. And the other is to rework them into something else. Does that mean Descent into Avernus gives you decent champions? It depends on how you pronounce it. You know? This is problematic. We're fighting a dragon and we don't have a tank. Unfortunately, we have Calliope's shields. I think we got through it. Wow. Okay. Followed your guy to Dritz. I'm on the way to Azaka. Nice. And then the 2 others, Dwarf Archmage and someone. Dragonbait. Dragonbait is after Azaka. Alcoria is after that in a whole other campaign. Yeah. I am currently working my way towards Azaka on this account. So yeah. We did more tadpoles and managed the 1200 variant for Penelope. Nice. Turning player here. Welcome back. What's the deal with dismantling? So it's a new system they created because, when people, they were about to rework 3 champions that the community, or they were about to make changes, nerfs, to 3 champions that the community, uh, liked or had invested heavily in. And so they created the dismantle system. And basically, what happens is now, whenever they rework a champion, that champion will get access to a full dismantle, which means you can pull everything off of them except the rarity of gear, but you can pull their item levels and everything else off and put it somewhere else if you want, if you don't like the rework. But legendary dismantles are basically along those same lines. It's if you put legendaries on specific champions to support a champion that just got reworked, and now you're not going to use that reworked champion anymore. You need to change up maybe how your legendaries are placed, because at the time it was very limited to get legendaries. Still somewhat is, but not to the point where people are complaining about. Some people are complaining about anyway. And so they allow you then to pull those legendaries off as potions and reapply them somewhere else. So it's just a much friendlier system for dealing with reworks to champions. What's the deal? I didn't even catch that. What's the deal with dismantling? That was phrased very Seinfeldian. Do I have to full push every main quest to reach the champs? No. Who's telling you this? No. No. I think once upon a time I thought that was a good way to do it. I will say this. A couple of years ago, I probably said this. But no. No. As long as your storyline adventures, let me hop out here. As long as like your storyline adventures here show as green, and the variants show as green, you don't have to deep push for favor. You have the minimum you need. Now there might be times where you want more. It may make some of these easier, but you don't necessarily have to do that. That's more for the variants than the adventures. Definitely don't have to do that for like every single mainline adventure. Is past Carbonati yet? No, it's just that sometimes you play the game and you think like, okay, this would make sense for good advice, and you try it on a new player account, and yeah, it works, but in this case, it's slow. It slows down. It just slows you down if you're trying to deep push every time. And the reality is, a lot of times you're getting to a point where you can't increase your favor significantly anyway. So just do it up. You do deep favor pushes every now and then, and usually it's around getting some milestones like some stronger champions or much better gear or something that's going to allow you to really push deep again. Do the big packs like the glitch bundle get discounted to 50%? Oh, that's a good question. I know that sometimes there are some pretty big discounts on things, but I don't know if like 50% is. Yeah, I don't know. Usually there's a pretty deep discount when they go to retire something. I mean, it's 40%. That's a pretty solid discount. When they go to retire something, they have DLC retirement sales. There's a 50. Sometimes with DLC retirement sales, there'll be a pretty deep discount, because that means it's not going to be available in the shop anymore. It'll only show up in wild offers. I don't. Occasionally there's 50s, 40s is pretty solid. Yeah. This game doesn't. I mean, there are some pricey packs in there in the $50 range, right? But compared to other free-to-play games, Raid, Shadow Legends, this game's monetization is pretty pretty fair and balanced, especially since you can get all the champions just by playing the game. You can gear them up. Uh, the one really nice thing that's out of the shop that is always going to be useful for you, familiars. They're the automation feature breed. It's great quality of life feature. You can't get enough of them just in-game currency. So but like on my main account, I bought all kinds of things. I bought skins, I bought familiars, I bought packs of things. Hmm. Got missed earlier. Oh, whoops. There's a lot of people around. Solarian, can you explain how to maximize Shadowheart's invoke duplicity? To a certain degree. Can't demonstrate it on this account because this is on Epic, so I didn't get that giveaway. But the way invoke duplicity works is she invokes her like duplicate, and it will sit on what is it? Is it the highest? It's based off a stat, so it's on a like is it dex based? Can't remember the stat. This is the problem when I try to do this off my memory. Hold on. I got it here. Highest dex. Okay, I was right. Cool. So it moves to the highest dex champion. And then what happens is now Shadowheart has two buffs, right? She has a buff that's a positional that's coming off of herself, and a similar positional that's now coming off the duplicate. Now the duplicates has a shorter range, but you can set it up so that your DPS, your primary DPS, is in range of both, and double dip and get both those buffs. It's all about building the formation correctly, and when you can do that, you want to choose that specialization too. The find yourself. You would then want to go with find yourself because it's going to buff it, and then you kind of want to play around with then getting Shadowheart as far as possible from the duplicate, but regardless, yeah. So it's just you look at where the duplicate is. You're going to want your DPS next to the duplicate, unless you have a champion that transfers things, right? Anyway. And then you want Shadowheart, within range of that same DPS champion. And then you get to double dip. When I dip, you dip, we dip. Wow. J-Dog, that's horrible. We don't want people to know that. Mars shouldn't have said that. Mars shouldn't have said that. Oh, that's going to make people upset. Domino's trying to sell tots. Yes, I saw this. I don't understand. The best tots will always be school cafeteria tots. I don't know what to tell you. They just always will be. Yeah, for familiars, pretty regularly they do charity familiars. And I always buy those. Even though on my main account I have way more familiars than I need, I always pick up the charity familiar. Do you play normal D&D or other systems? I have not played any TTRPG other than D&D. I didn't play D&D until like 2019, maybe the end of 2019. It's the first time I finally got to play D&D. And I don't get to play often. I love it. I've got some charity streams. In fact, somebody probably threw my YouTube. Oh, I see lurking right or link to my YouTube channel. There's a playlist of me playing D&D. On some of them are on the Cena Games channel. Yeah. So I've done some. We used to do Storyteller Mars Presents over on the Cena Games channel, and then I've done some charity games over on the Dungeon Scrawlers channel that have been an absolute blast. The first Mauser. The other day, you're talking about running Caddy alone variant. Correct. with Dark Urge. Yes. Making lots of fear near the end after a 40% lower. Yeah. Curious what I might have done wrong. I was running tier 2 and had to pop potions just to complete with little favor gain. Well, it's not about just completing the goal, it's about going well beyond, right? Um, it's about continuing to push as far as you can. And what you want is you want Caddy Bree in the very far back and then Dark Urge in the column in front. And because Dark Urge because the cooldown for attack speed and ultimates applies to everyone in the formation. I know it just says Caddy, but it applies to everyone. You put Withers, you put Dark Urge and Resist to the Urge, so you get the Withers revive. Then when the Dark Urge dies, he's tanking. Withers brings him, knocks back the enemy, brings it back to life, and then that revive is back up before the damage invulnerability is gone. So you can do that indefinitely as long as you have the damage to continue pushing. So if you don't have a lot of damage, like if your Caddy Bree isn't well geared, or you don't have a lot of power in your count or something, then you may not be able to push very far. Like for me, I was only able to get to E13, Lathander's Favor, and the Tier 1 version. Because you can do it in any of the tier versions, it doesn't matter. But it's about going as far as you can past the goal area. So the problem is Shadowheart's duplicate is on the main DPS. I don't think so. It should apply to that person, maybe? I don't know. You'd have to see if they're getting the buff or not. And the buff you're looking for is Invoke Duplicity. You're trying to see if that is on that champion. It does say relative to itself, so yeah, I mean if it's not applying to the DPS because it's literally on the DPS, that could be a problem. I don't know. You'd have to check. I haven't run into that situation. I managed a restaurant. I may have abused my privileges to order a case of school pizza. Look, I mean, it depends on what kind of school pizza it is. Like, I know that Wild Mike's pizza is a lot of pizza for a lot of schools now. I guess in certain areas, and I love me some Wild Mike. So I just had that for dinner last night. It's the best frozen pizza that I've come across. Not seeing any new things in Strong Cores or Gold Fight now. It was supposed to be. You need to make sure you applied the patch, right? Couldn't get much past the completion. Okay, that's going to be why then. Really, it's just running out of power. That happened to me on this account again with Bee Stingers Unleashed last time. You know, eventually you just run out of power. It's not enough to overcome lack of gear and lack of general account power, but it's enough to usually let you finish the adventure and maybe get a little further. But like on my main account, because I have so much extra power, I could take it all the way to 2001. Have I read the Forgotten Realms Rage trilogy? Who's who? What? I don't know. Off the top of my head, I don't know Rage. Is it? I don't know. Tell me who wrote it and who it's about, and I'll tell you if I've read it. I don't necessarily know things by the names of the trilogies. You get a ton of favor on Penelope, and that carries over. Correct? I don't know what that means. Oh, the favor you earn in any of these uh, runs for these champions will work for all of the event stuff. Yeah. Better than Tombstone Pizza for me. I tried a bunch of different pizzas, frozen pizzas during the when this pandemic started, and The best one for me personally, for what I was looking for, was Wild Mike's. Back to the game after a year and a half. Welcome back. Forgotten a lot. It happens. Best way to increase my main DPS is damage is item levels, right? Not really. Like post soft cap, not necessarily. It depends on the DPS. It depends. It depends on the DPS. You're gonna want like a Modron core and level up your Modron core and pipe it out super well. You're gonna want like patron perks, blessings, legendary powers. Legendary effects are the biggest boost in the game now, and that's from doing Trials of Mount Tiamat. You have to complete Baldur's Gate Descent into Avernus, and you'll unlock Trials of Mount Tiamat. You'll be able to go earn scales that you can take to the Legendary Forge and forge legendary effects onto epic gear. And then you have to level up those legendary effects to really get lots of power from them. But yeah, so I mean, uh, item levels are like there's a certain point, like you want to get there's a certain point as you're going, you just accept whatever item levels you have, and then when you start really generating lots of gems and lots of blacksmithing contracts, you can start putting item levels on champions. Generally, people start with speed champions to make them go faster, and thus you earn gems faster. But then you want to get like an item level floor of like average level. The first 100 levels on all your items is kind of the biggest boost in investment before diminishing returns kicks in. But there are champions that we refer to now as mops, like that mop, and it's because they have an ability that is mathematically overpowered, so MOP, and that is an ability that is supported by an item where the ability itself stacks multiplicatively. So it has a buff that stacks multiplicatively with the buff, and an item that raises that buff value so that you're just getting this astronomical increase in power. Those champions get way better with item levels, like do so forever. But there's about 30 of those champions in the game, both combination of different types, DPS, sports. So it depends. It depends. But there's a lot of ways to get overall power rather than just investing into one champion. I don't do jalapeno poppers, J Dog. I've never popped a jalapeno. Not my thing. Not my thing. Oh, we could bring Alleyway. Can put Dell in a DPS. We can actually Dell in a DPS here. I'd have to chant. No, it's wrong spec for Gale to do Dell in a DPS though. We just have no tanks for this at all. I'm just gonna have to hope that we have enough damage to kill through everything, because it's gonna be bad. Wild Mikes, they had two different sizes. One's called I don't know. One's the big one, and when I say big, it's enormous, and it barely fits in my freezer. It doesn't fit in a bag from the store. But then they have what they call fun size pizzas, and I can't find those at the store that I normally am buying stuff at. They were perfect. The perfect size for like lunch or just a meal for a single person for me. And I really like the flavor and everything. And they're really inexpensive. Like, it's probably why they don't have them around, is because all the other pizza places are like, no, you can't stock that. It's too cheap and it's too good. People won't buy ours. That's my pizza conspiracy theory. Well, Mike's does not have a food truck near me. That's all that matters. Is my new account Steam or Epic? This is on Epic. It's on Epic. Yeah, I do my new player stuff on my Epic account. And basically, I play a new player for a long time, and then I get all the data I need out of it for upgrading guides and stuff, and then I shelf it. And then when I'm ready to do another new player run, it's usually once a year, I ask them kindly to reset it completely, like to remove everything from it. And they basically zero it out, and then I start over again. Steam has my permanent progress. Richard Lee Briers about the dragons slipping into their 1,000-year rage. Oh, interesting. No, I did not read that. I did not read that. But yeah, I was reading those books. I was reading like Dritz and Elminster books. I have a couple like Ravenloft books, but a long, back probably the 90s, and have continued. Like I have all the Dritz books over there, including the more modern ones. They're pretty fantastic, in my experience. Interesting. Oh, because the Dark Urge can go everywhere. That's interesting. Yeah, that works. I was like, why is he there? I mean, I know we can spec him into Magic, but it's because he goes everywhere. He gets to go everywhere. Fun size about the size of personal pan from Pizza Hut? No, it's a little bigger, but it's not a pan pizza. It's a thin crust pizza, a thinner crust. I shouldn't say thin. It's a thinner crust pizza. I'd say it's about this big. Like a personal pan pizza is about this big, and I'd say the fun size is about this big. Right. Yeah, 9 inch. The 14 inch is the big one that I will do for dinner every now and then. That's what we had last night. Yes, I'm waiting for Aaron's next book. Aaron M. Evans, former writer of Idle Champions stories and adventures, also creator of 3 of the characters in the game, Frida Havilar and Mehen, the Brimstone Angels. Her D&D books were great, but she has a new series out. Starting the first one's Empire of Exiles, and she has Relics of Ruin coming out. Very soon. I pre-ordered it like a year ago. That's how I'm excited I'm for it. Just waiting for it to show up. Oh, I didn't know they did breakfast pizzas. I don't know. Some of those aren't available in stores. Again, some of these are like school stuff only, I think. Or maybe they're just not in stores around here. See how coasting to the finish goes. I mean, yeah, good luck. They can't use our Kira anymore. She aged out of it, unfortunately. But I mean, if you can't do coasting to the finish, which is a 1,300 area goal, try Invisible Wizards of Thay, which should be 1,100. See if you can beat that. And then maybe if you can beat that one, then maybe with the perks you get from that, you can go back and finish coasting to finish. Right? All pizza can be breakfast pizza if you want to. Look, I had leftover pizza for breakfast today. So the start is K through 12. No. No. Ugh. We got about 32 areas we got to go. And then we'll be done with it. Oh, hey, I've got gems. You've got gems. Dang it. Dang it. But we got a potion of speed. Woo! Wee! I'm going to open the Shandie chest. Soaked map. All right. That's fine. Still holding on to the others, though. Tempted to just try to push that. I don't think we have. Well, no, we've got enough time to do another short one. Back in Tomb. She'll only get the 1 silver, and then I'll wait to gear her up with With Electrums, Shandie will get her gear primarily from Electrums for a while. Just for me, that's just I choose to be efficient with it. She doesn't need gear for this her speed functionality, so it's fine. I really just time gated her for speed, for her speed boost. So Penelope is just she's avoiding the last green item for like so hard. She doesn't want to be opening gold chests for her. Tomorrow's CNM stream is basically an additional GG2E. Correct. Correct. That's what I was asked for. Advisable to use bounty contracts early game as new player. Yeah, because you can, like, especially in an event like this. I'm going to use these right now. Because they're going to get me tokens that I can use to buy an event pack of chests with, right? It's the blacksmithing contracts you want to hold on to until you have somebody like Briv or Human that's a speed champion that just wants all the item levels. Then you can start putting them on those champions. But I don't. Otherwise, I hold on to blacksmithing contracts on a new account until I have one of those champions. But bounty contracts, during events, pop them because they're going to give you event tokens, and those event tokens buy you gear for those event champions. What do I feel about the new character accounts now? I mean, I think one of the reasons I wanted to start a new player account was to see how the collection, like the guide quests, work. Like, do they help you as a new player? Unfortunately, they don't help you the way that I would hope. I was hoping more like something in-game equivalent of my new player guide that really kind of points you in good directions, and they don't. Currently, it doesn't really do that. But they don't hurt you either necessarily. I mean, they're giving you rewards for things, but there's too much here. There's just too much going on that is not even remotely applicable to where people are in their power curve. It feels a little confusing at the moment. You fear there'll be less questions on Thursday? No. Nope. But everything else, I think with the new events are better for new players, and we're on an ad break. I do feel like this new event system is better for new players. More flexibility of who you get to choose helps you a lot on your path to split the party. Yeah, I wouldn't really do that. We'll talk about that when we get back from the outbreak. That's a dangerous game to play. No, rabbits. Ugh, rabbits. I actually got to see a rabbit run across the road the other day. I don't see them. They're usually pretty sneaky around here. We have some that live. We had one that lived in one of our hedges, but not hedges, but bushes. But I think it moved. All right, I think we're back now from the ad break. Use them at a higher level of bounty contracts. They don't have to be. I know they drop gold, but you tend to tell people like try to use them at the end of your first deep run in an event, but you're probably already past that. I don't know. You might be. Really, what you really want out of them is the event tokens. The gold is not great. It's an offline gold calculation that used to exist. Well, it still exists, unfortunately, but it was based off like the early day, the back in my day version of Idle Champions, and where you didn't really, get in. There was no offline progress. So it's fairly low. Um, yeah, I mean, but yeah, if you want to, you could try them at it. Towards the end of the run, the gold might help you level up a bit, but it's not a requirement. You put all your blacksmith contracts. So here's what I wanted to talk about. You put all your blacksmith contracts on Penelope right now and get them all back in 16 days by dismantling. But you have to be careful not to buy any bouquets for her while you're wearing all that gear. Yeah, that's just look. That's a hassle. I just want to say. I mean, look, if you want to test that out, but you got to be okay with. Oops, I accidentally came over here and bought. Like if you come over here and you buy Penelope chests with bouquets, you lose that dismantle, and they're not going to help you if you do that. That was your choice. So I don't know. I don't think you need to do that really. I don't think you need to micromanage a new account that way. New player, I definitely appreciate 3 free heroes and 2 half off time gates. Yeah, as long as you time your time gates well, like your time gate pieces. But the spring celebration that's going on right now, make sure you're logging in every day and claiming the chest. Like we got a time gate piece today. That's why one of the reasons why I did this time gate. You're going to get another free champion, but there will probably be more time gate pieces. Usually there's a few. Grab those up because Wednesday, you'll want to use 3 of them to unlock another champion, right? And then the Wednesday after that, you'll use 3 more. So but it's really the flexibility of being able to pick from a pool of champions for 3 of the 5 you could get normally, and even 6 if you buy DLC. That pool lets you pick a variety of different slots to push towards split the party, or split the party 1, split the party 2, or just look for speed champions or pushing champions. If that's where you're at in your progress, like, yeah, it's just way better for new players and old, honestly, I think. Just the ability to get people were saying for a long time they wanted a better way to try to gear up older event champions, and it's like, well, here you go. You pick whatever champion you want every event from this list, gear them up, right? You're not just locked into the 3 most recent, which is what it used to be. Night, Cal. Thanks for hanging out. Yeah, I can't wait to see on my new. Oh wait, I haven't turned my new account off yet. Hold on, let me go. Let me go set it to reset into something that isn't a Brimgem farm, so I can check out the new changes over there. Brimgem farm's over 200,000 gems again after spinning them down. For gold chest. Woohoo! Did that already after started watching this? Did what already? I don't know. Again, there's nothing that's like problematic. Anyway, like if you're talking about using blacksmithing contracts or using bounty contracts, like it's all good. The events happen once a month now, and they last for 3 weeks. They start on the first Wednesday of every month. They last for 3 weeks. It's now like clockwork. So you're going to have events regularly. You're going to be earning gems and opening chests regularly. There's so much. You're never. Someone was like, "What do you do if you make an unrecoverable error in Idle Champions?" There isn't one. There isn't one. There's always ways to keep going. You might slow down. It might slow your progress down just a little bit, but it's fine. Just need to replace Minsk. So Caddy Bree on Wednesday. Nice, yeah. I chose Caddy Bree first because I really just like her as a support champion. I'm going to pick up Spurt on Wednesday on this account because he's the only. I only need a swap in slot 3. People were like, "Why did you get Shandie when you could have got a slot 3?" It's because I'm getting Spurt on Wednesday, and I want a speed champion here. So I want a solid speed champion, and Shandie's a solid speed champion. Right out the gate, 25% faster as long as we're not under attack. Doesn't need gear for it. Doesn't need a feat for it either, because feats that make it better. I've typed like that before, Crafty, so once you get it so I can read it, I'll answer it. Only way to get everyone epic is by just buying a ton of patron chests? No. You've got, time gates, these events, right? These are time gates and events are ways to get gold name chests for a champion. Patron chests is the other way. So some combination of those is what I did to get my main account full epic back in the day. Nice, Lurky Rider. Regular gold chests only drop epic gear for your core and evergreen champions, not for your event champions. So getting everyone epic means you need to involve time gates and patron chests. Natural shiny from an Elminster patron chest. Nice. Voronika. Nice. You always want, as long as it goes to a event champion, it's happy times. It's still 10 gold chests for an epic. I mean, Pity Timer is, yeah. Doesn't matter the gold, what kind of gold it is. The first time you open a gold chest of any kind of gold chest with a unique name, the first time the Pity Timer is 4, but after that it's 10. So like if I come over here, Penelope's is 4, right? Shandie's is 4. Caddy Breeze is 4. I haven't opened any one of this type of chest before. But once I get an epic out of these, the Pity Timer resets to 10. And all those Pity Timers have to do with the type of named chest. What is he? Oh, I did it already. Okay, that didn't. Yeah, Netherese Orbs. I'm like, did I get to put a feed on him at some point? Really want to get Shandie to the point where I can put a feed on her, but it may have to happen in a tomb run. It'll happen real easy in a tomb run. Ooh, silver chest. Dang it. What a gold. Yeah, sometimes I'll put my fingers in the wrong place and I won't there's always well, on my keyboard, most keyboards I have, I think all keyboards, there's a place for your home, like your index fingers to rest, and if I'm not looking at the keyboard, sometimes I forget to check do I feel that before I start typing, and I'm slightly off, and it would make sense if I had shifted the keys just one to the left or one to the right, and time gates are another way, but it's limited to how many time gate pieces oh, well, sure, but patron chest is limited to how much patron currency you can earn. There's limits on both. Some of us are very unlimited by time gate pieces, but I get it. Yeah. This is why it's a long-term goal to get full epic on everyone. Correct way of asking is no, I still wouldn't, but see, it's not about asking, it's about qualifying the question you're asking. The answer is still the same. Combination of time gates and patron chests. Now, how you choose to balance that combination is up to you. It's up to you. One thing I do recommend, it slows down your progress a little bit. So this is up to you to choose. I'm just giving you information. I do recommend getting your core and evergreens to full epic first before opening gold patron chests, before even buying them. And this is because if you pop open that patron chest and you have a core evergreen that qualifies for that patron, they could steal your epic when you and that's an expensive epic to steal because patron currency is limited, whereas gems are infinite and truly truly outrageous. So yeah, it's just a recommendation, but again, everybody can do it however they want. I have to actually just feel for these now because I've got 4, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. I've got like 12 keys on this keyboard that have lost their cover. Like it just wore off. Like apparently the oils that come out of my fingertips are acidic, like highly acidic. They just ate away the top of the keys. Like there's some kind of thin film over the top of the keys, like that's the opaque thing, so that you can have a see-through uh, light up letters. It's just gone. It's gone. It was gone in like the first month. This key, whatever they use in this keyboard, doesn't like my body chemistry. Have a cover on the keyboard. Yeah, I know people do that, but I can't. I couldn't. I've never been able to use those keyboard covers for specifically that reason. I can't feel the keys. And I grew up being taught on a mechanical typewriter, and you got to find those home keys and then start going. Is that a gem in the holograms reference I heard? Yep, of course. Of course. Oh, I need to pop off Flappy's alt again. I keep forgetting. I just want to turn it on regularly to make sure to refresh her shields on everyone. Because that's what we're tanking with. We're tanking with shields. How dependent is the game on mid maxing? If you want to, for most of the content, not super dependent. Um, but what happens is if you don't like, if you're not playing super efficiently, it's just going to take you longer to complete some things. Some of the late game stuff, the really late game stuff, I mean, you got to be on point. You got to know your stuff. There are people that overpower it, but it's like, they could have done it sooner if they just, built the right formation or found the right set of champions or something like. But you can overpower some things. You don't necessarily have to min max. Um, the key is making sure you have certain things. You need someone with the tanking. You need someone that's a tank to soak up the damage. Like up here, you need a couple people up here, and hopefully they're tanks. You can. Gale could be up here in the right spec, and as long as there's another tank over here, you can make it work. He's got a feature for that, right? But usually you want a tank in the front to soak up damage, and then you want one major DPS champion. In this formation, it's got three. Everybody else exists to buff her, right? So as long as you're doing that kind of thing, you're building a good formation. But who you use in those situations, it's kind of up to you. I mean, I wouldn't say I love the '80s. I enjoy a lot of the uh, pop culture from the '80s because that was when I was young and able to just soak up outrageous amounts of it. Um, doesn't necessarily mean I love the '80s. I actually find like the '90s is for music, a way better decade for me. '90s and then the 2000s, pretty solid. But the '90s, good stuff for my personal taste in music. This is a mechanical keyboard. Spoil yourself with a nice mechanical keyboard. I have one. And normally I don't have. Normally, like from this brand, their keyboards have lasted for me for like a decade at a time. I have often gone like a decade between buying a new keyboard. And again, this one still works fine. I have to, only way I know what keys are in this section over here where my left hand goes is because of the little home buttons where I can feel it, and then I have to type by touch because I can't look down and see what I'm doing. Fortunately, I'm a touch typer. So whatever they did with this keyboard, it just didn't work out for me. It still functions, so I'm not getting rid of it anytime soon. Keyboards are expensive. I'm not buying another one. I'm not buying another one. Yeah, hair metal. I enjoyed some hair metal. Yeah. No, Mr. Blonde has had a sound problem, I think is what they were referring to. Not my crackle or something like that. But yeah, you can pretty much rule of cool, like play with whatever group you want to for most of the content of the game. There are going to be challenging variants where you're going to have to adapt. Especially if, like here in the event, if you want to go all the way to tier 4, you're going to have to find some serious, you got to build good formations, have good power, like you've got to get a little meta with it. But most of the content in the game doesn't need you to do that. Hey, here we are at the end of our run. Boom! Ultimate from Caddy Bree wrecks their faces before they get there, and we are done. We are done. Well, yeah, we're just gonna call it. So I've completed the 3 things I want to complete. Doing a free play would just be to try to get more silver chests, and I don't value those super high, even on a new account. I'm just going to close this gate, and I'm going to convert this favor over here into Kellenvor. And then I'm going to hop back in